Alrighty, I want to talk about some more deck techs. Doing deck techs at the moment. I'm kind of enjoying that. Um, Building decks, playing decks, testing decks, building more decks. Kind of repeating that sort of pattern. Um, you'll have seen some red black dragon stuff. And then this, I did in those videos I mentioned about sort of big red, and I've got 4 big red-ish builds to look at today. The concept of big red is similar to mono red aggro, but you're less aggro, more controlled, more kind of control the game mainly through like removal until late game where you play threats that and just dominate. There's been a chap online, I can't remember who now, he took a big red deck into the mythic ranking, which is pretty cool. I think that's where I found the inspiration. I didn't copy his list. I just found inspiration from it. I thought there's no point in copying a list. You can find that elsewhere anyway. So my lists are similar to my dragons list. They're focused around Sarkhan and Chandra, this kind of team up. I just think the card advantage and then making dragons, becoming dragons and all that kind of stuff with dragons and is always pretty good fun. So we'll go right through this. We're going to go have 3 shock to begin with, because we want early game removal. So 3 shock. We've got 2 Chandra's Pyrohelix as it deals with. You can do with tokens, or it's just a more expensive shock. We can also do mono red. A lot of their guys have toughness 1, so just get a couple of those off. We've got 4 Lava Coil because Phoenix and X-Lining things is still relevant. 4 Lightning Strike, and then we've got 3 Direfleet Daredevil. It's got the first strike going on. We can also steal someone's shock or something, or someone's opt, something like that. We can pinch stuff out of our opponent's graveyard to cast, which is always good fun. We've got a little bit of a goblin theme going on here. We've got 2 Legion Warboss to apply early pressure. And then we've got 4 Goblin Chainwhirler again, first strike, apply some early pressure. Can deal with some smaller weenie creatures when it enters the battlefield, like Llanowar Elves. Anything with 1 toughness, like tokens and things. Plus a 3/3 with first strike. It's kind of, needs to be answered a lot of the time. Becoming less relevant, Chainwhirler, price has dropped a lot. Still good card. I think I like these in our 3 drops at the moment. Then we're on to our 4 drops is where things start really going our way. We've got the 4 Rekindling Phoenix. That basically, it's got the recursion, so it's essentially they need to 2-for-1 it. Pretty much need to get rid of Rekindling Phoenix and then get rid of the token it creates. Otherwise, it just comes back. Then we have 3 Chandra, Fire Artisan. Which is crazy, right? So some people, I don't think they realise that if you deal damage to a Planeswalker, they lose those loyalty counters, which means her ability will burn people, basically. She's a bit of card advantage, and a lot of the time people don't want her to get to that 7, so you can use her ultimate, and it's pretty damn good if you can. I've only ever managed it once, and I wasn't recording, I was just playtesting, so it's a bit of a bummer, but we'll try and get that on recording. Then we've got 1 Karn. Again, if necessary, we can make artifacts. He's more relevant in the build where we'd be running Treasure Map. We have got a build with that, and I'll show you that in a second. Also against this card advantage, so it's pretty good. And both of these Planeswalkers, whilst they do brilliant stuff on their own, are even better with our 3 copies of Sarkhan the Masterless. As whenever a creature attacks you or a Planeswalker you control, each dragon you control deals 1 damage to said creature. We don't have many dragons apart from this dragon, so that's kind of irrelevant unless they bring out more dragons in the next set that are playable. There's plenty of dragons that are playable. I'm trying to build a pure dragon list with more dragons in, because my red black dragons, check that out, you'll see it's a great list, but it doesn't have that many dragons in it. But his main thing is we can make a dragon, or make all of our Planeswalkers dragons, including Ugin and stuff. So if we've got 4 Planeswalkers down, tick him up, that's 16 damage in the air, and that's game. And then we've got 2 Skagan Hellkites, because a 5-mana 4/4 flyer with Riot, so it can be a 5/5 or a 4/4 with haste. It's very good. His extra ability isn't all that necessary, but you know, it can be a more expensive shock to win the game if necessary. Finally, top of the curve, high curve, right, is Ugin the Ineffable. Card advantage in a weird way. We get a little 2/2 colorless spirit that when it leaves the battlefield, we get the card. We get a card basically. So we exile a card face down, and you know, basically a 2/2 colorless creature. And we can get that, or we can just blow something up, which is cool. As long as there's one or more colors, so we can't destroy artifacts, we can't destroy Khans. But you know, it doesn't matter. Still a great card. I think 2 is a decent number in this deck, maybe 1. But Ugin and Sarkhan are my favorite planeswalkers. I say this all the time. So you know, 3 and a 2 is fine. The lands, we've got 13 mountains, 4 Rootbound Crag, 4 Stomping Ground, and 3 Blast Zone. So we've got 13, 17, 21, 24, maybe not enough. We'll see. Sideboard, we've got Chandra's Triumph. Because we've got Chandra out, we can basically just kill a planeswalker, kill a big creature. 2 of those. We've got Jaya's Greeting, deals 3 damage, and scry 1 to a creature. You might be thinking, why not just, you know, you've got Lightning Strike, you don't need Jaya's Greeting. Sometimes scrying is good. We need answers without that treasure map sort of set up for drawing cards and stuff. Scrying and drawing, that allows Jaya's Greeting's good. Plus 3 damage to a creature that then lets us scry. Because we're not overly bothered, we're not really a burn deck to someone's face, we're not too bothered about burning their face, so the damage to the creature is fine. We've got Forcing Divines that comes in against control, and that shut down Phoenix decks pretty quickly. Diamond Mare, that'll obviously come in against burn and aggro, gives us some life. We've got 2 Tybalts because life gain is a no-no for our opponents, plus the little devils, they make are blockers, or the devils he makes are little blockers, and again little damage. So if they attack with a 2/2 block with the devil, it kills, you know, it's fine. Another Chandra to help with Chandra's Triumph. Also more card advantage. I go wide strategy here with Siege Gang Commander, can also help out with Legion Warboss, extra goblins, and all those things. And 1 Banefire because control. I will usually always have a Banefire in the sideboard of a red deck if it's a non-aggro deck. So, you know, I think it's just good. It's a good way to finish off our opponents. So that was Big Red Cinder. Here we go, Big Red. They're all Big Red. You'll notice they're all similar. 3 shock, 2 Direfleet Daredevil this time. Direfleet Daredevil's a good card. I prefer to play other things. I could be completely wrong. Right, completely wrong. We've got 4 Lava Coil, we've got 4 Lightning Strike, we've got a few more 3-drops this time. We've got 4 Chain Whirler, 4 Light Up the Stage, I found is quite good. Then we got 1 Tibalt in the main board, because I want the extra Planeswalkers for the Sarkhan bit. We've got the 4 Flamewake Phoenixes, sorry. I'm going way back in old standard. 4 Rekindling Phoenixes, 3 Chandras, 1 Khan Steel, 3 Sarkhan the Masterless, 2 Siege Gang Commander, because I'm sort of going on a bit more of a go wide strategy here in the late game instead of the Skagan Hellkite. I just want to test out what that's like in the main board. 1 Ugin, we're running 21 Mountains, 3 Blast Zone. It's just straight up red, no green in the sideboard. 1 Jaya's Greeting, 3 Diamond Mare, 3 Sorceress Spyglass, 4 Goblin Gathering, again going wide. 2 Legion Warboss, again going wide, and 2 Banefire, as I just don't think that our opponents will be playing board wipes for a couple of creatures. I just don't think that's going to happen. So my theory is, if we're against control, we can bring in the go wide strategy, or against aggro, again go wide, because turn 3 creating 3 or 2 or more just chump blockers is great. That's that deck. I feel like the 3-drop slot, there's a lot you could be doing in the 3-drop slot here, or the 4-drop slot even. And I'm just messing around. We're going to see sort of what is best. So we've done Big Red Cinder. We've done Big Red map. Here we go. Big Red map. This is based a little bit more on, I can't remember his name. I'll try and find out and put the details in the description. Of the guy who took Big Red to Mythic level. He ran 4 treasure maps because scrying is good, because we need to find answers, or we need to find specific things for specific situations. And that's always good. So there are 4 treasure map in this one, but again we still got the 3 shock, the 4 lightning strike, the 4 lava coil, and the Chandra's Pyro Helix in the main board. No Dire Fleet Daredevil in this one. I could take out Tybalt, maybe take out, I don't know, the 2 Skargan Hellkites for some Dire Fleet Daredevils, maybe the Ugins, I don't know. So we're not running any creatures until turn 3, but we're running the Chainwhirler, running Tybalt in the 3 drop slots. 4 drops are still, you'll notice it's pretty much our top curve is pretty much the same, and our removal is the same. It's just a few 3 drops, 2 drops that change a little bit. So Phoenixes, Chandras, Khan, Skargan Hellkites in there still, 3 Sarkhan, 2 Ugin. Lands the same as the previous one that splashes green for the Cindervines. We've got the 3 Diamond Mare, 3 Sorcerer Spyglass in the sideboard. But here we also have Gruul Spellbreaker. I just think it's a good card to be running. We can take out something like Tybalt, Ugins, and lower our curve for the Spellbreaker as a 3/3 with Trample, or a 3/3 with Trample and Haste, or a 4/4 with Trample. It's very good, especially since it gives us hexproof and itself hexproof on our turn, which I think is great against mono red. Again, the 1 Banefire because control. And here is one I'm working on that I'm not quite finished on yet. This one's still in the works. I kind of wanted to make a big red riot. I wanted like I didn't want it to be Gruul, but I wanted to be sort of giving, you know, Skargan Hellkite double riot. And I'm pretty sure that when our creatures come in, like when they become dragons, riot triggers. So because they're entering the battlefield as creatures, so like they're going, oh okay, so Sarkhan suddenly can make 5/5 dragons, or he can give himself haste. So I think that's how that works. I could be wrong. That's how I interpret that, because they enter the battlefield. They become a creature, therefore they're entering the battlefield as a creature, right? Could be wrong. Anyway, so 3 shock, 4 lava coil, the 4 lightning strike. Again, that combination pretty much stays. Those 3 cards are always in, sometimes in differing numbers in the big red deck, dragon decks, those kind of things. We've got the 4 Goblin Chainwhirlers. We've got the 4 Gruul Spellbreakers main board. We've got Tybalt still. I love Tybalt. I just think he's a good 3-drop, man. He's a 5 loyalty planeswalker. Stops our opponents gaining life, so it shuts down the Wild Growth Walker bullshit that goes on. We've got the 2 Rhythm of the Wilds. We've got the 4 Phoenixes, because you know we can give that haste, or we can make it a 5/4, which makes it much harder to deal with. We've got the Chandra, we've got the Sarkhan, we've got the Skargan Hellkite, we've got the 2 Ugins, the lands, 10 mountain, 4 forest, 4 crag, 4 ground, and 2 blast zone. Blast zone does some good work. Sideboard is 4 Cindervines. Anytime I'm splashing green in these big red decks, there'll be 4 Cindervines in the sideboard. I only got 2 Diamond Mare because don't know why. They're making space for things like Legion War Boss. We've got Sorcerer Spyglass again, 3 of. It's just pretty much the best way to shut down bloomin' like Teferi and all that nonsense. It's a Teferi, whatever his name is. Shut down all those nuisance planeswalkers. We've got 2 more Rhythm with the Wild, if that's that might be relevant. It's a Legion Ball boss. We've got the Siege Gang Commander going wider, and then the 1 Banefire again. So these decks are quite the same. They're very similar. This was just a very quick video on just building, how to build Big Red. There's loads of different ways you can build Big Red. So we can actually sort of build a Big Red deck now. Let's go for it. So I'll change it to this way when I'm building. We want red. What we want is we want a controlling start. So, oops, I passed it. So we're running the shocks. We may not need too many shocks. I like the Chandra's Pyre Helix. So this is how I would do this. I would go, right, I need to control the early game. Creatures are often quite relevant, so I just kind of go through and click on stuff and go, right, okay, I'm going to want some of that. Jai's Greeting. I'm actually going to put main board this time. That might be more relevant than something else. I mean, if you're up against a non-creature deck, then she's definitely a sideboard card. But maybe we want 2 of those. We keep going through. We're going, okay, right, we're going up a little bit more now. We can get, I guess, kind of a board wipe. 2 damage to each non-pirate creature. That's quite good. It's instant speed. Maybe that's the best we're going to get. I think in red, that's probably the best board wipe we can get, unless we go like real high mana. So we're looking at that, and that's probably, Inescapable Blaze is basically Banefire, pretty much. But it's instant speed. Banefire is not instant speed. But Banefire is limited. This is limited on how much damage we can do. But 6 damage for 6 mana is the same as Banefire. So maybe we want to try that. There's no harm in going, okay, I want to try that. So Electro Dominance deals X damage to any target. You may cast a card with converted mana cost X or less from your hand without paying its mana cost. That's pretty good. We're probably not doing that. We're not really a spells deck. We could splash something like black. We could splash, like green with the other ones. But okay, so that's that. And maybe we go, right, let's get some sorceries. We know that we want Lava Coil. We run full playset of Lava Coil. We know that. Because there's Phoenixes. What else might we want? I mean, it's good. The Critics is okay. Goblin Gathering. It depends what you want to do. So this is how I would do it. Okay, this is kind of like some early game interaction against creatures. If it's not a creature deck, we kind of struggle a bit, right? If it's not, we just burn to the face and stuff, which is fine. I don't think we get a better board wipe if we need a board wipe, because there is what's it called? Gates Ablaze, but we're not running gates, so that's irrelevant to us. However, Gates Ablaze in like gates control is bonkers, but we could run gates if we wanted to, but it's silly. We don't need to. Also, if we wanted card draw, we could get right. Okay, we want some card draw. Run Tormenting Voice. Run 4 of those. Maybe not necessarily. Depends what you want to do. Knowing that we are our sort of like main win conditions, it's going to be Sarkhan. We're going to run 3 Sarkhans. We can look at this Jaya. Jaya's pretty good. She's 5 drop though. So if, if another red source you control deal damage to a permanent or player, it deals that much damage +1, which is quite good. And she's, she can deal 4 damage essentially before she dies. If we were more creature focused, I'd say Angrath would be good. So again, if you wanted to do a go wide strategy, I'd definitely put in Angrath. Again, like 3 Chandra is easy. You could say, right, we want to run Sarkhan Fireblood for the discard draw. Maybe we want to do that over Tormenting Voice. So maybe we take out Tormenting Voice, because Tormenting Voice you have to... You draw 2 cards of Tormenting Voice, don't you, I think. You could also say, right, okay, Saheeli Rai. Well, it's not Saheeli Rai, is it? But Saheeli. Okay, so we don't really have to be running blue, but we have a lot of non-creature spells. So I could, you could justify whacking some Saheelis, Tybalts. It could be just a full-out Planeswalker deck. Where are we going? We wanted... Again, I always want Ugin in this. Maybe just a one-of in this kind of build. Karn, do we need a Karn? I mean, whacking a Karn, I suppose. I would then also consider... Oh, don't want Planeswalkers. Oh, yeah, lands. I'll run a 3 blast zone. There is... What's it called? I wrote it down somewhere. Interplanar something. Interplanar Beacon. When you cast a Planeswalker, you gain 1 life. And we're running a fair few Planeswalkers, so we could run 3 of those. We could run that. We could run those just for the life gain. Maybe. I'm not saying this is what we have to do. It's 25 lands. I mean, I'm sure it's fine. Let's look. So then I would say, right, okay, so we do need some kind of threats. This seems, seems kind of rushed, perhaps. Red creature. Again, Direfleet Daredevil. He's a good choice. Where is it? And you can spend more time looking through. There he is, Chainwhirler. I mean, Squee is a recurring threat. I mean, he's only a 2/1, but he's hilarious. So amplified for custom top of your library to a creature card. No, we're not doing that. What was I going to take another look at? But I think, if we're going to play Interplanar Bridge, we play Sarkhan. And then we also play Hellkite. Because on the off chance that we can... Sometimes you might be able to get Hellkite down on turn 4, which is quite good. What are we on? 56 cards. I mean, this card is great, but he's not good for our deck. Where else are we looking? What does Neheb do? Discard a number of cards if you do draw that many cards and add that much. So, kind of no good for us. But then, okay, so we've got 4 slots left. I'd probably just whack in the 4 Weekending Phoenixes, perhaps. So let's look at this. Okay, 4 Lava Coils. I want 4 Lightning Strikes. I kind of want a board wipe, but maybe that's a sideboard card. So I go, what was that called? Fiery Cannonade. So I'm pretty sure I can just click and then drag that to the sideboard. So that's Fiery Cannonade. It's each non-pirate creature. So I'm going to whack in a couple of those board wipes. A couple of these. I still think Banefire is better. Reset it. Red. Banefire. Just randomly clicking on that. Off of that. Oh no, Storm Red. Go away, green. Where are we looking here? Main board. Chandra's Pyrohelix. Dive Devil, Double Lark. Okay, so we've got 2 over already. Suck on Fireblood. Tybalt. Saheeli. How many non-creature spells do we have? I feel like she's also good because the servos can copy the dragons, which is quite cool. So non-creature spells, we've got 2, 3, 7, 11, 12, 14. Do I count her? 18, 21, 22, 25, 26. So I feel like if I wanted to make her work in Big Red, I'd probably be happy with this. I'd be kind of okay. I'm actually kind of okay with this. I'm not so sure about Sark and Fireblood. I mean, he is another Planeswalker. I mean, if I was running 4 Skagan Hellkites, I'd definitely run the Sark and Firebloods. Because that's a good combination. But what I'm gonna do is, let's take a look. What to do? Oh yeah, we want Chandra's Triumph in there. We want Spyglass. What else do we want in the sideboard? Do we want Diamond Mare in the sideboard? Diamond? Yeah, we'll have Diamond Mare in the sideboard. What I'm actually going to do as well is, what is that artifact called? I don't want you, Spiraling Construct. Don't be silly. Don't be so silly. Where are you? Where are you? Thematic Compass. Right. We don't necessarily need it for the lands, but the ability to lock creatures out of combat is great. But that's an option. I'm not necessarily going to put that in here. I'm probably going to take out 1 Direfleet Daredevil. Kind of okay with the 2 of those. I feel like I need to shift one thing. I feel like I just get rid of Sarkhan. I mean, he's card engine though, really, isn't he? Besides Chandra, I guess. Let's get rid of Sarkhan. If I was going to put in Thematic Compass, I'd probably take out Direfleet Daredevil, just because that also helps to trigger Saheeli. Saheeli's a little thing. In fact, I could take out a Saheeli and put in a Thematic Compass. We wouldn't necessarily be needing to ramp that. Maybe I want the treasure maps as well. Maybe I do want Saheeli, and I want treasure map instead of. So if I take out Skagan Hellkite, put in 2 treasure maps. Something like this, I would look at this and go, okay, removal, 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 removal. That's lots of removal. A threat. Early game, sort of hold the board down. Things that do stuff that's good, scrying is always good. Like I said, Big Red's kind of meant to be a control deck. We've gone 1 card over though. I mean, you could cut out Ugin, 6 mana. But to flip Thematic Compass, we do need 7 or more lands. I suppose you could take out Thematic Compass, I suppose, or the Saheeli. But I guess to get value from Saheeli, you want card draw. I don't know. We've got card draw and treasure map. Let's take out that. Something like this. This is an example. I'm not necessarily going to play this, but that's an example of how I would kind of like look at how to build Big Red. Go, right, okay, here's my win con with Sarkhan and the Planeswalkers, and keeping pressure on with things like Direfleet Daredevil and Chain Whirler. I mean, in fact, you could probably, I don't know, something like this. I'm not saying that's how you should build it, but okay, I'm going to call this, what do I call this? Random Red. Random Red. I'll play Random Red later. See how it goes. But that's how that's an example of how to build it. Take a look. That's our sideboard. That's not necessarily the best way to build it, but I'm looking at it going, top decks, mono red, answer for mono red, answer for mono red, mono red, mono red, mono red. All of this stuff deals with mono red. Sideboard, yeah, comes in for mono red. Mono white, I guess like Fiery Cannonade can take out some stuff. I don't know. We got answers for things. Control. You know, we've got Sorcerer Spyglass. We've got Banefire for control. The decks I've playtested have done reasonably well. Like, it does depend on your draw. There is videos and stuff up, so check those out. But that's this done. Thanks for tuning in. It's a bit rushed, a bit quick, a bit kind of like, here's some builds for Big Red. Here's a way to build Big Red, but in my humble opinion, Big Red is going to be one of the best decks in Standard. Once it finds like a settled build, and I think the treasure map build that went to Mythic was, you know, damn hot. It was really good. But again, you could build it like so differently. Still, I'm looking at Fountain of Renewal. You could take out the Daredevil and the Shocks and put in Fountain of Renewal or something. I don't know. It's crazy. The options at the moment in Arena and Standard are just brilliant. They're superb. But definitely give Big Red a go. Like, I think if you're gonna give it a go more with the treasure map build. This is close to that chap's build. I need to find his name. I'm gonna write it down. I'll put it in the description. That chap's name who took it to like the Mythic ranked on Arena. Like, his build obviously worked. He knew what he was doing. He knew what he wanted to do, and his game plan worked. Me, I'm still playing around. So far, I'm having the best of luck with like Redback Dragons and Simic Mimic. Check out my Simic Mimic, man. Like, video that smashes, absolutely smashes. Do that. I'm going. Oh wait, we need to open a pack. We always end with. Oh, we got one. Lucky. We always end with opening a pack. Because tradition, right? Tyrant Scorn's decent. Oh my goodness, Ugin, the best of the Planeswalkers. His voice is creepy though. Cool, right, so what I previously say I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be opening the pack, and whatever the rare or mythic is, I'm going to build a deck around it, unless it's one of those thingies. Or the wild cards, and then I'll have to open another one. So in this instance, I'd build like a colorless deck. I'm going to do that anyway. I'm going to write down build colorless. Build colorless. That's not words, but it's scribbled. Because that'd be fun. Done. Sorted. Thanks. Again, not again, but feel free to like and subscribe. Maybe leave a comment if you want me to follow you on Instagram or whatever. Give me a shout. Everyone should support each other. The smaller YouTubers, the smaller Magic Arena players. Everyone should support each other, because that's what communities are for. And I fully support anyone who supports me. I support people out of my way anyway. Do that. All right. Peace.